Welcome to Division Rivals. I'm Kenny Weber.
I'm Lucas Cicero, dude.
And I'm Dwayne Murphy Jr.
And I'm Gabe Cohan.
It's almost the end of this crazy COVID weird season.
Right?
We got 2 weeks before the Super Bowl.
And we know who's in the Super Bowl. After this whole time, it's
it's down the street. Dude, you could...
We
you
did.
know.
We were
Yeah,
there.
you
We were
can go
there a few weeks ago.
We were. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there yesterday, yeah. I didn't go to the game. I can't afford that. But I tailgated. That was a good time.
Yeah.
props to Lucas. I got to give it up to Lucas because early in the season, he was saying Rams were going to the Super Bowl. And then he kept saying it through, even when they were shit in the bed. And through their ups and downs, he was a Rams guy.
Yeah.
And
He
so,
did stick with them
so
the whole way.
he did stick with them the whole way. But, legitimately, no one in the world saw the Bengals coming.
No fucking way, dude. Not
you know,
this far.
No, nobody saw that.
They were a 4-win team last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our Super Bowl episode will be next week. Our preview of the Super Bowl. We'll talk a bunch about that, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more storylines that come out over the next week, which it'll be good to talk about that. First, since we didn't actually do an episode after the last round of the playoffs, we have to talk about, or I at least have to talk about, I was all in on the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and they couldn't win a playoff game in this season.
Aaron, he showed his true colors once again. I think people have kind of locked in the narrative on Aaron Rodgers. You guys agree?
I think the Niners just found his antibodies. They really went after them, dude. They went in there and they weren't gonna fucking leave without a dub. When I saw that field goal block right before the half, I was like, dude, the Niners are gonna win. You just felt all that momentum shifting to them. The defense was outstanding. I thought they had a good shot of winning this weekend. I thought if their defense can play like that every week, they only need a couple plays and then they win.
Yeah.
But
it seems to me most recently Aaron Rodgers has had a really tough time just rallying the troops, you know what I'm saying, when these games get out of hand, it's you can't, it's nip and tuck the whole game. The 49ers weren't necessarily putting a bunch of points on them, it was 7-7 for 2.5 quarters, 3 quarters, you know what I mean? But Aaron Rodgers couldn't uplift anybody. He's I can't find Devontae, and then everybody else who's undrafted free agents can't get open. You saw him on the side just being he always puts his hands up, you know what I'm saying?
He's definitely not, it's not that he doesn't have comebacks. It's not that he hasn't won close games, but he's not the, Tom Brady.
No.
Peyton Manning was known for it. Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Was known like that. Gonna get you back in the game, and almost always, whether it's winning or losing, just have that last drive.
I mean, look, that's a perfect example. Tom Brady, the game right after that, Tom Brady played, and the Rams came out and closed it, but Tom Brady was marching up on him. You were oh shit! Tom Brady's gonna do
it looked like they were gonna fucking.
They were gonna beat him.
It looked like they were going to. When Leonard Fournette threw that ball into the stands, it was just this is what happens when Tom Brady plays.
Exactly.
I was at Heritage Barbecue. And I had just I literally just sat down with my food, looked up, and Fournette was throwing the fucking ball into the stands. Then I was oh shit. And then it was wild how it was just, it was just weird. It was weird to me how it was just boom, boom, boom. And the game was over, but it didn't seem over for some reason.
Yeah.
And everybody's just in the field. That's it. It might be the end of Tom, and also might be the end of Tom Brady's career.
It was just such a different, I'll talk about as far as the play goes, it was so different. You know what I mean? To watch Aaron Rodgers implode, not get anyone to fall behind him, and then immediately see Tom Brady.
Yeah. He's just not a comeback guy. Yeah. He's not a. Aaron, I mean, these are pretty blanket statements that I'm making. But it's almost he's not a gritty guy, gritty win guy.
He reminds me of someone that goes to a sports psychologist a lot, like Aaron Rodgers over Tom Brady. Tom Brady doesn't need that, but Aaron Rodgers needs to sit down and discuss his issues with Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, because Tom Brady just fucks Giselle, dog.
And now John Mulaney's fucking Aaron Rodgers' ex. So.
You're right. Yeah,
that's probably why he's losing. They just had their baby. That's
Olivia
what
Munn.
it is.
Yeah.
To be fair, the game was in the snow. I think the Packers didn't really run the ball enough, or the running wasn't so effective that you could just call play action, do whatever the fuck you want.
They couldn't run at all, man. 49ers closed that up.
No.
Seriously.
I mean, if Aaron wins, if he goes like somewhere else and wins a championship, he literally is Peyton Manning.
But does he though? You know what I mean? Like
I don't think that he does.
Right.
Oh, you don't think he's leaving?
No, I don't think that he's gonna go. I don't think he's gonna go somewhere and win a championship.
He could.
I think he could.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, he could. Or he could. I'm saying I don't think he's going to.
Two things on the Packers running game, which was first, A.J. Dillon got hurt really early in that game.
Right.
That hurt them. Like, he's their big bruiser. And secondly, Fred Warner's the best linebacker in football for the Niners. Like, he captains their defense. So the Niners didn't win by scoring. They won through defense and special teams. That was it. It was an easy game for them offensively. They just had to not turn the ball over, and Jimmy G tried really hard to turn the ball over like 3 or 4 times. But
dude, let's not forget the special teams, too. They really were ranked 32nd in the league, and you saw why.
Yeah.
Like, dude, on that punt block, where the only touchdown they scored, which they didn't even score an offensive touchdown, dude, that the long snapper got bull rushed so nasty. Mm-hmm. He was on skates for like 12 yards, and then the guy just, it looked so easy. He's like, oh, if he's that weak, I can fucking push him out of the way and block that shit.
Yeah, and he looked scared too. He looked like he got the snap off a little weird, you know, because he was like, because you know how they do when they're like, I gotta block this guy, you know what I'm saying? Like the ball comes out strange. They did bully him. You're right, they did. They bullied him this whole game. And Aaron Rodgers does not, like, respond to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's got to get ahead and stay ahead, you know?
Yeah, and then he's going to fucking put up, like, 75 points on you.
Exactly.
But if you get ahead on him, he's scoring 10.
Yeah.
I could see him, like, leaving, though, going somewhere else. I mean,
who did the Bengals?
The Steelers, the Broncos.
I mean, where does he go to immediately become a contender, though? Because if people have targeted the Broncos, especially because they hired Nathaniel Hackett. They just hired his offensive coordinator.
You're right, yeah.
And but it's like, you know, I agree that he's gonna have a hard time competing against Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. That's 4 games right there.
And the Raiders, you know, they weren't very. They made
a good hire. They made a good hire for their coach too.
Yeah.
Josh McDaniels.
Oh, they did hire Josh McDaniels. Oh man, okay.
Yeah. So I think it's cool how the Raiders just went ahead and hired. In the area that they felt they're lacking in most. Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, we need an offensive guy. And same thing with the Broncos. You know, offense is trash. All right, let's bring in the offensive mind, the head coach. So it's going to be tough to play there.
Speaking of coaches hopping around, Dan Quinn signed a multi-year deal to stay with the Cowboys.
To stay with the Cowboys.
Which I found very interesting. He just pulled himself out of the running.
I feel like the Jerry and Steven sat him down and were like, look, if Mike McCarthy keeps doing the way he's doing, either two things are going to happen. Either you're winning multiple championships as the defensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys, or Mike McCarthy fucks up and we bump you up to head coach.
He's not winning any championships.
Well, but that's what they have to say. They have to, because they got to sell him both ways. Because you can't just say no matter what you're going to be the coach. Because what if they go win the Super Bowl this next year?
Yeah.
They're definitely not firing McCarthy.
But Dan Quinn was getting a lot of interviews, man, and I'm very inclined to believe that he was getting a lot of these interviews and realizing he was getting passed over, because he kind of hopped out of the running. Out of the 9 jobs, only 3 have been filled, and Dan Quinn has hopped out. He interviewed for 6 of them? He interviewed for 5 or 6 of them.
It was a lot.
Yeah, a lot of them. And
I think he also looked at where he would be, right? So let's say you get hired onto the Giants or the Jaguars. Mm-hmm. You're probably going to suck for a couple more years, and then where are you in 2 years? Are you competing? Are you a playoff team?
Right.
With the Cowboys, at least he knows he's closer to being a playoff contender. And if Mike McCarthy fucks up, you know, he's probably gonna get the job.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how the Patriots have been stringing along Josh McDaniels for so many years, because he's had opportunities to take good jobs, but they're like, hey, you know, Bill Belichick's getting kind of old.
But he also did leave and fail. Like once, and then go back to the Patriots.
He took the Colts job and then quit before he even stepped foot into their facility.
Son of facts.
Wait, he quit? I thought he just declined it.
No, he took the job and built a staff. Eberflus was on that staff, and now Eberflus is coaching with the Bears. Like, you know what I mean? And then he just left. Exactly. Frank Reich came in and retained a lot of people.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then he it's weird. It's interesting, but I still do think he's a good hire for the Raiders. Like
right.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like with Dan Quinn, it's like
maybe the only offers that were really that were going to be serious, where he was going to actually be offered, maybe they were, like you were saying, maybe they're the bad teams,
true,
or places he didn't, what he didn't think were going to be a good fit,
right?
Because all it matters is I think he got a 2-year deal, so in 2 years there's going to be a bunch of openings as well, and maybe he can get something better.
Wait,
anyway.
Dan Quinn got a 2-year deal?
Yeah, I believe it was 2-year. They
Yeah.
signed him like to a 2-year.
I mean, he did a good job. If you look at like defensive units and their improvement year over year, the Cowboys has to be one of the most improved defensives, if not the best, the most improved.
Yeah, and the way they looked under Mike Nolan, who Mike McCarthy picked, you know what I mean? And to have Jerry Jones step in and bring Dan Quinn in and have the defense turn around like that.
Which is funny because, we come from a team where, ownership puts their hand in a little too much and starts fucking shit up. But now, you got a dude who's like, all right, well I'm going to do whatever the team needs.
Once Steven started making helping make a lot of the decisions, that's like Jerry hasn't been like the Jerry that everybody's like what people still look at him as. He hasn't been that for like 10 years.
Right.
It's been, but it's not that. It's that Steven keeps him in check.
Right.
Steven takes the Johnny Manziel card, and it's not even something that he can get a hold of to make the pick. That's what happened. You guys know that.
That was the turning point of all your decision making. Like was that moment right there, because Jerry had been like, remember Jerry wanted Terrell Owens when you didn't need him, man. You know what I mean? Got rid of DeMarco Murray and DeMarco Murray was his name?
He was there. He was there for a few years.
Yeah. So DeMarco Murray they got rid of DeMarco Murray and drafted Zeke. Like,
exactly. But Jerry was going to pay DeMarco Murray. That's what it was. Jerry was going to give him the big contract.
Which I don't even know. It's hard to say. He might have. I mean, if he was behind that line and doing the same shit, he might have. He wasn't going to continue and then be what Zeke.
I mean, did you see what he was at the Eagles the very next year? He was. He didn't exactly. He didn't exist.
Yeah. So who did the Bengals play the week before?
The Titans.
The Titans. Oh yeah. That was the Titans also.
My dark horse for the Super Bowl. I gotta say, I thought with King Henry back,
I thought so too, man.
I bought in.
Yeah, but you know what? He wasn't at full strength. Clearly, I don't even think he got the bulk of the carries. His backup did really well. He broke off a huge, I think, 60, 80-yard run. But Deontay Foreman was enough, though. I mean, there's no substitute for King Henry.
Yeah. Well, they fed him 20 carries for 62 yards for Derrick Henry. So they were giving him the ball. I think a lot of it was Tannehill. 3 picks didn't help.
Yeah, he couldn't get it to his receivers.
It's not like they played poorly. Like the Titans were in that game all night. I don't know. It was just a very weird game.
Was keeping Joe Burrow in check. If you ask me,
Nine sacks. 9 sacks.
Yeah.
They've done the best job on Joe Burrow all in these whole playoffs, even though they lost to him.
Are the Titans moving on from Tannehill?
I don't know if they are. They should.
His contract is this. He has another year on that contract, I think.
Tyler,
I feel like they'll ride that out.
It's Ryan Dilfer Tannehill.
I mean, but even then, Trent Dilfer wasn't throwing 3 picks in the playoff game. Come on,
he was too busy winning Super Bowl.
Yeah, handing that ball off. You know what I mean?
But because he knew what happened if you don't. If you throw those picks, Ray Lewis will murder you. Yes, he will. He will murder your children.
I just kept coming back to trader cam. It's like, what is anybody? See, West jerseys are all bloody. Anybody want to do something about that?
So the Bengals beat the Titans, moved on, played the Chiefs, who beat the Bills, and the fucking Bengals are going to the Super Bowl. That's so wild, man. It's so
it's very wild.
It's wild. It's wild that they. Okay, one of the other things we have to touch on, because we'll do the whole Brady saga next. But the 2 overtime games, the Chiefs and Bills overtime game, then the Chiefs Bengals overtime game, and the controversy, we kind of were talking about it right as we were setting up to record. What do you guys think? I told you guys earlier, I think that it should just be college has it, like, we already have a superior system somewhere. Implement it next season. That's my opinion. I know they're not going to, but that's just what it should be. Possession for possession, and when someone fucks up, they're going to be done.
Well, I am in the camp of not wanting to see the rules change in overtime. I am, and I don't necessarily use the argument that because of what you saw with the Chiefs and the Bengals game that disproves it, because everybody's saying that. But you can just say that. I just think it brings the game to an ending. You know what I mean? Like it does, you know, and like it's just been, they've changed it to this point, and I feel like this has worked the best way for a long time. Now that we see quarterbacks throwing for 400, 500 yards a game, and people want them to stay in the game longer, I think that's what's really pushing this argument to change the rules. But I don't really think we have to.
I agree with you, man. I mean, it seems very opportunistic when something doesn't go your way because, you know, you just couldn't stop the offense. All of a sudden, you want to change the rules,
right? But like, the defenses are like we all agree that defenses are nerfed as well with rule change. Like it's not like all the rules stayed the same and overtime rules changed. Like all these rules have changed that have like made it harder to play defense and whatnot. Right. So that's why I just think you should have the opportunity, because they did it. What they did to, instead of doing that, is they did a half-assed one. That's what we have right now. Is if you score a field goal, you get the opportunity. All I'm saying, if you score a touchdown, you still get the opportunity to go down.
Well, they did that because games were ending on field goals, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you score, we don't want these games just ending on field goals. We want them to at least end on like, if you shoot a field goal, the other team should at least get a chance to do something. That's why they didn't want these games ending, like you said, where like, oh, we're gonna run to the 40, you know, like, you know, they do that, like left and right, quarterback like slides and then they kick a field goal. It's like go score or don't do anything at all. You know,
I would say if you want to even the playing field so that the rules are also more fair to the defense. Like you can start by getting rid of hit on the defenseless receiver. Bro, I'll make the argument every single receiver is defenseless.
Yeah.
There's no way, even if you're like moving straight, what's defending you? You can have two guys obliterate you on each side.
Yeah.
I'm also pro concussion. I just want to state that.
Yes.
I like how these guys did. Well, I won't lump you into what he just said. But I like how Lucas is like, don't change the overtime rules. Just get rid of all the rules protecting players. Because the overtime is right.
I'll say bring like hand checking back. You know what I mean? A little old shades of the NBA. You know, they don't let receivers press on you anymore, and I think that favors the offense and like really makes it hard for defenses.
If there's contact on both sides, I've seen refs be pretty fair about like, you know, the little hand fighting, whatever, corner of the end zone type shit. But
because the receivers facilitate that contact a lot. Right. You see, they run into the DBs and then they play like the flapping game almost. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that, you know, that makes things tough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'd like to. I mean, even if you, let's go playoffs. Do it in but regular season. We'll keep the field goal. Let's playoffs. Let's just.
They have to be consistent.
Here's my proposition. All right.
I say do it all the time. I'm just trying to talk you guys into
less rules altogether as the season progresses, right? So by the time the Super Bowl rolls around, no helmets, no pads.
You have to kick off from the parking lot, and it has to make it into the stadium.
If you come to the game, we fight each other until the last person who is alive.
We flip
gets the Super Bowl.
There's 40 refs, and they flip. They each have a quarter, and they have a quarter in each hand. They all flip up at the same time. There's one dime in the middle of all that. That's the actual coin that is for the coin flip. Like just crazy shit.
Dwayne, did you just say at the end of the scenario they all just die at the end? Is that like it just ends in a gladiator match?
I'm telling you, less
it's
rules,
just Aaron Donald just grabbing necks.
Just got Joe Burrow up there and snaps it like Thanos.
It was funny when when Aaron Donald had that guy by the neck, and the guy was just laughing.
He's a Cardinals player, so yeah.
I guess that's all you could do if Aaron Donald has you by the throat.
But that dude had some size on Aaron Donald. Let's be honest. And Humphreys, he's a tough dude.
Yeah, he is. It's just it's a funny thing. It's just because they make. I mean, the media makes so much about like Aaron Donald being a monster.
And it's like this dude is indestructive.
He's kind of got a little baby face going on too. He doesn't look like a scary guy.
Funny because you see his kid. Did you see his like his son looks just? It's like his head. His head is like. Boop, onto a little kid. It's so fucking funny.
It's like, where are we going, Daddy? We're going to the Super Bowl.
You know what's really funny is in the past couple of years they do those photos on like on ESPN or Sports Center on the Instagram, where they show a bunch of the players with baby faces. They did Aaron Donald, and I remember looking at him and being like, he barely looks different.
And he has a baby voice too. He kind of sounds like Mike Tyson, man. Like when he talks, he does not have a deep voice at all. He did this podcast
because everything went to the fucking to the muscle.
Exactly. He's like, yeah, I've been 500 pounds. Is that Aaron Donald?
It's crazy that the Rams fucking got Von Miller, got Odell, and like it all paid off. Like now, when we were talking about it, like in the middle of the season, I think I was like, if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, the Odell trade is not worth it. Like,
it wasn't even trade; they signed him off the street. And, luckily, hey. So again, shout out to my man who put out that YouTube video. Shout out to Odell Beckham Sr., aka OBS, for reposting it and calling out how fucking trash Baker Mayfield is. Hey man, the Rams wouldn't be here without your YouTube highlights.
There you go,
crazy.
Or lowlights of how bad Baker is.
You did a very good job cutting it up because they did not want to do that in the Browns front office. Everybody knew the truth. All right. So you see Baker Mayfield, this aside, I know I'd be hating on Baker. It's my weekly Baker hate. Did you see that little video he posted with the shoulder surgery, just being like, I'm ready to get back to me, and he also said he was gonna like stop doing social media and like just go like, dude. Baker's like, I'm just gonna get offline.
I'm going dark.
I'm gonna.
He pulls it and it just blacks out.
He's like, I just want to thank you all for the support. Cuckoo.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, Baker, we knew the truth, man. You know what I mean? Just be honest. You ain't that good. All right. No.
We're gonna get like fucking 4 more weeks of like at home with Baker Mayfield. Now he's got the fucking sling and shit.
Exactly.
I'm giving out candy at the stadium.
No, he's got to be yelling at his. He's got to be yelling at his wife. They need to be making Baker like angry now.
Yeah.
I'm still the starter. And they're like,
bring me my Vicodin. Bring me my fucking Vicodin. He's just at the stadium giving out Vicodin to kids like instead of candy because he's super high.
Whatever. Get out of here. We're gonna win the North next. Fuck Joe Burrow.
Just take off both my shoulders and I'll get out there and fuck them up.
I'm the Ohio kid, and then he's like closes the door.
So I think one of the I don't know if I missed anything that we were talking about, but Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bucs lost, and Tom Brady had a false retirement earlier this week. That was was that yesterday?
I think he's coming back because you think about how he's going out. I don't think that's the way he wanted to go out.
Right,
of course.
No,
I mean,
Adam Schefter leaking the story. He didn't want Adam Schefter to leak his retirement to the entire world.
I think he was trying to film an episode of Man in the Arena, and word got out and stuff. It seems to me that Tom Brady. It's like I don't know. It's weird. Like maybe I feel like he did leak it because Schefter does not put out information that's not credible. He's not one.
And then he doubled down on it, didn't he? Was it him? It was him that was like, "No, nigga, he's retiring."
Schefter's like, "Bro, I talked to you." It's like, come on, like I don't. It's like a lot of people who put stuff out for clickbait. You know what I mean? Like with the New York media. You know what I mean? Like you see it all the time. With like these big market teams. But Adam Schefter is credible across the board. So when he says Tom Brady's retiring, he had to get that from somebody. You know what I mean?
This is the second time he's messed up this year. He had Mac Jones to the Niners at 3 for
right.
a while.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
But they say that, but they do say Kyle Shanahan still regrets that pick though. Apparently, Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones
because he likes white guys.
I mean, who would you? I mean, after this season, who the fuck would you rather have on your team?
As my man AB would say, you know the vibe.
I'd rather have white chocolate Mac Jones.
Look at Mac Jones, baby. Mac Jones is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. You see him with the gut back in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. You go.
No, I was gonna say, speaking on that whole situation they get in Trey Lance, I think that kind of fucked with Garoppolo's head because they're like, man, how are they winning with fucking Garoppolo barely squeezing on wins? It kind of hurts your confidence when you go and invest your entire future on this new quarterback that is eventually going to replace you.
Yeah. Instead of something like maybe another wide receiver for Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. A little something because it's not like Garoppolo's 40. He's a young dude. He's still got. He's still gonna be a very good career backup. But
imagine if they would have gotten him like a young receiver.
Yeah,
rather than getting.
Where did they pick? They could have got like Kadarius Toney. I think they were picking in that area.
So just somebody that could open up that because you have Kittle. Somebody's got to open up the slot.
Dude, imagine
right?
if you had Kadarius Toney, Debo Samuel, and George Kittle.
Well, I think Ayuk fills that role. When he wasn't in Shanahan's doghouse, he's been. And sorry, this might be a little bit Arizona State homerism, but like Ayuk is a great receiver. I mean,
he is. He's very good.
Yeah. He's really talented. He's a legitimate slot guy. Yeah,
dude, that's what we got. We got to go to a college game. Next season, we got to go to like a USC.
USC's
game.
about to be lit, though. You know what I mean? Lincoln Riley's coming.
Damn it! I was hoping they. I wish they could have signed Urban Meyer so we could get some fingers.
The game a little too adult. All right,
get some fingering on the West Coast, baby.
How did you go back to college after knowing that shit is going?
Because that's where all the fingering's happening. Of course, you go to college.
Honestly, though, you be recruiting like him. Like, hey, bro, like, come on, you want to come to college?
He walks in and shakes the hand like this.
It's like, hey, got moms across the country be like, ugh. Black moms too be like, I don't want that white girl's butt on my head.
You could come in my house, but leave your hand outside. I got the window right there. He's got his hand hanging out the window. You ain't eating my food with that nasty hand.
I believe in you, son. I do. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I believe in Brady coming back. That's what I believe in.
He will. His pride got hurt a little bit.
For sure.
I was on that track, and honestly, the person that I believe it was Gabe that kind of got me switched over a little bit, thinking that it's like, are they going to just be catapult to like right back to being contenders again?
Well, I mean, you would think if they get the receivers healthy, the defense is still good, young. They're probably going to upgrade it. They kind of have to.
That's if all like basically that relies on like everybody coming back though. Like that relies on like everybody who was bought into the system and bought into this comeback. Like some people got to be like, I got to get my money.
It's a lot of these guys that were on the Buccaneers that are veterans to the point where they're not going to get like big deals or big shots on other teams. You know what I mean? Like they kind of need Brady to come back because a lot of these dudes will be going in to win, just like Antonio Brown. Like
I mean, splash free agents. I don't know where Mike Evans is on this deal. Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown is gone, but all those other guys, Gronk isn't going to play anywhere without Brady.
Right.
And if
he already said he was saying like if I have to say it today, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only going to play if Brady decides to come back and play, like we said. So you don't know what's going to go on with – I mean, on the defensive side, too, JPP is up there. You don't know what's
he's up there in age,
Yeah. I'm sure Devin White will be back, and I'm sure they can do something with, like, Levante David and stuff like that. But that backside was all messed up. Who was it, Carlton Davis, I think? He's going to be –
Yeah, he was, like, their best player, and he wasn't even playing all that well. Yeah.
So it's a lot of turnaround could happen unless Brady comes back and they just run it back just because –
I just don't feel like there was like a lot of confidence in just running it back.
Yeah.
Last year, you fucking won the Super Bowl, but when you come off of like it's not a terrible. I mean, it wasn't like you got worked or anything. Like it wasn't. It's a fight. Like you lost a close game. And
I'm not to cut you off, but I have a friend who's a huge Tom Brady fan. He said this makes me hate Antonio Brown even more because he's like this dude. Tanked Tom Brady's career, like of all things, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not just him though. The O-line, they had like 2 big injuries. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they have injuries that first game of the playoffs, right? The wild card round.
Yeah, I think Tristan Wirfs went down. Well, did Jensen go down too?
Yeah, but even still, the receiver helped because without Mike Evans, he had no one else to throw to. If you be honest, even with that O-line help going down, if Antonio Brown doesn't have his issues and he still plays on the field in the playoffs. Tom Brady, I think Tom Brady's still here right now. You know what I mean?
Probably. I mean, it was that close where, But it's a lot it's not everyone that's Cooper Kupp.
I think he's I think he's gonna hang it up.
You think he's gonna hang it up?
Yeah, I think he's gonna hang it up.
I think he saw like everyone's reaction to him hanging it up, and he was like, I don't know if this is the reaction I want. Today's news cycle, after a couple of days, they're like, oh, cool, great career, peace.
Yeah, people were like,
okay. Like, They're starting to say their like goodbyes and all that.
I just think that if he comes back, I truly believe it's worse next year. Like it's a worse send off for him. Yeah. And I think you got to think. I think it's like you possibly miss the playoffs.
The division's getting weaker, though. Mm-hmm. The Saints are gonna.
They're gonna be in a rebuild.
Yeah, they're gonna be in the rebuild. The Falcons are the fucking Falcons.
Yeah. Carolina's running it back with everybody as far as we know, but
like, are they bringing back Cam? Are they gonna stick it out with Darnold? Who knows? Right. But either way,
they gotta pay both.
If they're the biggest competition to the Bucs, I think the Bucs can make the playoffs next year.
Yeah, but if it's like just making but that's the thing is Brady's not like I just want to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course not.
So I don't know. I think that if they were gonna run it back and it was gonna be you could feel really strongly about it, I think he'd come back. I just don't think. I think it's gonna be a worse send off. And even if he makes it to the playoffs, I just don't think they're strong. They would be strong.
Well, they're gonna pitch him. They're gonna be like, "Hey, look, we've got some picks this year. We've got some cap space. How are they doing for cap space?
Think about the amount of money they.
I was just looking it up. They'll have a little bit, but it doesn't look like they'll have a ton.
Yeah.
Okay.
The real question is in 2023, they have a couple free agents, Brady being one of them, and same with Levante David. So what are they going to do with that?
You hang on Levante David. He's young. I mean, do you?
He's getting up there in age, though. He's in his, 8th, 9th year now?
Yeah.
He's not that young. Like, you think
but
he
now
is.
he's 22nd.
Yeah, he's 32.
They want Brady just to for the relevance. Like, dude, Brady leaves the Bucs, and the Bucs are...
They're back to being the Succaneers,
yeah. Yeah, they're back to being like a second-class team in the NFL.
They made a show on Netflix selling Tampa because the Bucs are so good. You know what I'm saying?
They want Brady to play because they're just going to they can get another season. Yeah. Like, the Bucs want him to play because even if he goes fucking 0-17 next year, they're just still raking in money. From everything.
I believe
from
that.
all aspects, from jerseys, from fucking from ticket sales, from just everything.
Yeah.
And if he's gone, they're how much better? How much? As far as like money wise, how much better than Jacksonville are they? Like, you know what I mean? How much, like, as far as bringing shit in?
Well, they'd have to. Well, they're another quarterback. What if they get into the Deshaun Watson market? There we go.
Okay, no, you're right. You're right.
You're right. I mean, you talk about places.
Jackson.
There's only a few places where you can step in and win immediately as a good quarterback, and that's what Denver, Pittsburgh,
and we know that Tampa will pick up questionable players.
What if? What if Brady retires, Aaron Rodgers to Tampa Bay?
I don't know if Aaron would want to do that. And
I think Aaron wants to kind of.
Well, you want to write your own legacy. You don't want to legitimately be like, okay, I'm going to go take basically Tom Brady because I think you would get everybody re-signing,
dude.
If they're like, wait, you're gonna give now we could go from Tom Brady to Aaron.
I don't know if you watch this Gridiron Heights. This is something they compared these quarterbacks to the mean girls, right? And Tom Brady is Regina George. Aaron Rodgers would be that other girl, the rich girl that hates Regina, but has to do everything. The second girl who's like, remember she does that speech and she's like, why does everybody love Caesar? But Brutus is just as cool. Like,
Lacey
that's
Shea Bear, as the actress.
So Aaron Rodgers would not want to go to Tampa and then be, you know what I'm saying? Like, Brady's been there for 2 years, but he getting a statue, he getting a jerk, you know what I mean? Like, Aaron Rodgers ain't doing that. He wants his own thing. He wants Pat McAfee. He wants maybe Jeopardy afterwards, State Farm commercials. He wants his own thing. You're absolutely right. I don't know.
He wants a good market. That's so fetch.
I don't think he's really going to do it. I just think it's funny. Like, it would be a fun thing.
It would be funny.
At that point, Tampa Bay is like a rent center for Super Bowl. It's like, hey, what's up,
retirement home.
We'll let you borrow this great O-line, this great receiving core. Just hey.
So Brett Favre comes back out of retirement. Like, I'm going
Tony Romo comes out of the booth and he finally gets a ring.
For the first time, Jews aren't the only people who retire in Florida. We got
Terry Bradshaw's like, you know what? You can't win my money no more because I played for Tampa. All right, exactly. It would be tough,
man. So we got one more fucking football game, and then we're in like our first off season of this podcast.
Yeah. The Pro Bowl. It's really big this year.
Okay, two more football.
It's in Vegas this year.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yes, it is at the Allegiance, man. The biggest game they have at that stadium. So it's gonna be a big deal.
God damn.
I heard they're having a fire sale before the game. Well, I feel like we'll be making that joke next season. It'll be nobody. People
you will remember, man. They'll sweep it under the rugs next season.
That's probably what he's doing right this second. That's so sad, dude.
Oh, man.
What's sad is think about however long ago that was that happened. He's just been fucking chilling in jail.
And let's be honest, look how the Raiders bounced back from it. All right, after racism, you know what I'm saying? Murder.
I thought Bisaccia was going to keep the job. I'm surprised they hired Josh McDaniels.
Nah, he wrote those goodbye letters knowing he was not getting the job.
Yeah.
Do you guys see that they made a big deal?
Yeah.
That after the game, he was sitting in the hotel writing goodbye letters or thank you cards or whatever.
Well, he was there wasn't there controversy. Was it him or was it the strength conditioning coach? There was controversy with the Gruden hiring him or something like that. Anyway, it was a lot of weird shit going on in Las Vegas this year. And so I definitely think they want to clean house and start fresh. And
dude, they're about to go from they're going to have culture shock. They're going from Gruden, who's like, Gruden, you read those emails, you get a vibe for what Gruden's like. And now they're going to bring in Josh McDaniels the Patriot way, like you're going to run a lap after you fucking
and
go
do you
false
remember
start?
Do you remember his time in Denver was not sweet at all, you know what I mean? They said he got caught cheating in Denver. I'm sorry, it was young man, but he got caught cheating in Denver.
Like on his wife or in football?
Maybe both. Probably both. But no, he got caught recording. I think it was a Jets game. He was recording. They caught him recording.
No, I had my phone out, and then I accidentally hit record, and I didn't even realize that it was focused on them.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, literally.
I love how him and Belichick record the fucking weakest teams. Like, you're going to record the Jets? It's like, we can afford to lose, but not to these teams.
Yeah.
Exactly. You got to guarantee those wins.
Yeah, they were recording the Bengals back when Andy Dalton played for them. Like, that's not when you get them now. You know what I mean? Where they at now with these practices?
All right. Next week, we're going to be back with our Super Bowl predictions for the game.
Preview.
Any drama that's happened in the past week, we'll cover. And then we'll be in the off season. We're talking about doing things like doing our own little combine where we do some of the some of the different combine activities ourselves. I was just off the top of my head thinking about doing different lists where all of us rank, quarterback, the top 10 quarterbacks, receivers, basically each major position, and we'll do episodes talking about that from this past season.
I'm just gonna go on record right now. Number one receiver, Cordero Patterson.
Who's your number one running back?
Who's my number one running back?
Debo Samuel.
I was gonna say Debo Samuel.
I thought it was gonna be Cordero Patterson.
No. Debo took the running back slot. You know what I mean? And honestly,
I like how you could literally tell me, you could flip the two, and you could say Cordero was your favorite running back and Debo was your favorite receiver.
He invented a name for it, didn't he? He called it wide back. That's what he called himself. Debo, he said I'm a wide back.
See, we should change that to fat ass. Yeah. Hey, Debo got a fat ass. So, but thanks for listening. Hit us up with in the fucking the description will have the email, the phone number. Hit us up if you have ideas for bullshit that we should do during the off season to keep this going. I think we'll probably go to every other week once we go to the off season because there won't be much to talk about. Maybe certain weeks that there's like free agency, things like that we could do back to back. But yeah, thanks for listening. You guys got anything? Anybody?
All right, man. I would have said free OBJ, you know what I'm saying, earlier this season, but my man is free. I do owe Kyle Shanahan an apology also. I mean? He turned it around.
He really turned it around.
He did. He turned it around, and I talk shit about him, but he turned it around.
Aaron Rodgers owes me an apology. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate it, John. Peace.
Thank you.